This is Kate Baconsale. You're listening to Baconsale.
People always say red and purple are the best, or talk about how yellow and green are the worst. But what about the orange Skittle? Even though this captivating candy has been in the bag since the beginning, it's often overlooked. This red-yellow sweet has a pleasant, unassuming taste. Also, it only needs one name to describe both its color and flavor. Savor the consistent citrus tang of this Skittle, my friends, because it is truly the most underrated flavor in the pack.
Brought to you by Skittles.
We literally said on the last underrated show, we're going to talk about the most underrated Skittle on the next time.
Really?
So I had to get that in to make Jacob not a liar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to Baconsale. I'm Joel.
I'm Kent.
And I'm Zack.
We'd like to thank you for listening to our last show, our Disneyland show.
Big thanks again for
I ran out of breath.
That was the problem.
big thanks for Kent giving that impression, and thank you to Josh for being on.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Josh.
There were essentially, this is normally the portion of the show where I read about 3 or so comments.
Sure.
The comments today are broken down in categories.
Okay, that's
Comment number one is basically people asking, did you actually go on Splash Mountain for the episode art?
Yes.
A lot of us
The
did.
short answer is yes, except for one of us.
You did a great job putting it together.
Can you
Yeah.
tell who it is, listener?
Mysteries.
One of us has been photoshopped in
Well,
from a
we've
photo
all
shoot.
been on Splash Mountain, but one of us didn't have a picture, so we just had to make it up.
One of us doesn't like Splash Mountain all that much, okay?
Mysteries.
And I'm the only Splash Mountain picture that may exist of me anywhere. I'm dressed as Ralph from Wreck-It Ralph, so I didn't really want that either.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So comment number one,
You were worried it was going to wreck the picture.
I'm gonna wreck it. So comment number one is, wow, that's an interesting picture. Comment number two are giant threads
Oh, yeah.
of people playing along.
Giant awesome threads.
I loved it.
This is probably the most people played along with the tiers, I
People were
think.
playing along and they were giving backstories and they were
Right.
offering
Yeah.
opinions and
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of it. Like, people are like, thank you so much for sharing. Like, Joel
we
does
read
a good
them.
job of getting to them all as far as comments goes. I know I read a bunch of them. Crew Dutler, I'm never going to get your emoji games right. Just saying.
he had one,
But I sure
one ride
tried.
that was just just a star, and I was
He's
like,
I couldn't think of anything for tours.
yeah.
That's great. But thank you for playing along. That was wonderful. So, yeah, comment number two, playing along and tearing. And then comment number three can be represented by a text I received from a good friend of mine.
Okay.
Max Stimmy on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
He specifically texts me and says, listens to Baconsale, ... Afterwards, sigh. Pulls up Getaway today to book a trip.
Yeah.
Why do you do this to me?
I think we all did that.
I was going to say, a couple people did say this has inspired me to do a Disneyland trip, and I just want to say I'm sorry to your wallets.
My wife was on the fence. We were discussing the possibility of going, and after listening, it's guaranteed. Mid-September, we'll go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go before then.
Maybe. It's possible.
Baconsale Disneyland trip.
Thank you. It was fun playing along. We appreciate it. Thank you for, being youthful with us.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Speaking of youthful, we have a brand new patron.
Yeah, we do.
Yay.
So we've got a tier 2, but actually, let's be real, a tier 1 patron. It's Aaron Christensen joining the fold.
Sounds shady.
Wait,
He sounds like a shady
Is there
guy.
a personal history here, Joel?
Yes, actually,
Okay.
he's a good guy.
Okay.
He's a good guy. He's a friend of my brother's. We kind of grew up in the same neighborhood, and I'm a friend with his brother. So, good guy. Thank you for joining us, Aaron. He said he's been listening for a while now. Like, he just kind of got addicted to the podcast, but he told my brother.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And so then he decided he wanted to become a patron. So I hope you enjoy the videos that you get and the behind-the-scenes Pacon bits that we do semi-weekly, regularly, almost every weekly. What are we calling that?
Yeah, semi-weekly.
Yeah.
Not promised.
Not promised. Not promised weekly. That's what we should call
Yeah,
it.
that's it.
Yeah. But thank you,
thanks, Aaron.
We do appreciate that. But that's not what we're talking about today. What are we talking about today, Zach?
We are talking about the very most underrated things.
Things.
Just things.
Just
Again.
basic things.
It was but 5 short years ago.
Wow.
The last time we did an underrated show.
I wasn't even born yet.
True story?
Episode 145, this show is underrated. We have done 2 overrated shows, episode 68 and episode 251.
Yeah, you were there for that one, Zach.
Yeah, you were there
Yeah.
for that one, but you've not been here for an underrated show
No.
yet. This is your first one.
These ones are substantially more positive than the overrated.
Well, because the overrated is like,
unfortunately.
the overrated is like, everyone likes us, we don't. And underrated's like,
Why don't you like
it.
this?
You should like this.
This is
more.
also much more difficult. This list was super hard for me
I agree.
Why was it super hard?
because I'm like, that either doesn't feel like it's in the spirit of being underrated. I always assume like, oh, everybody must like that.
Well, see, I want to take this opportunity to be like, why don't you guys all know about this? But the people that like the categories we're talking about, they all love it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, maybe you should explore this more, everybody.
I didn't pick this, but I saw and considered for one of the categories, Jareth the Goblin King from Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, that's not underrated. Everybody loves that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not true.
Best song with goblins.
Right?
Underrated.
That's definitely a category.
Best underrated song with goblins. That is true. But also, it's interesting because Kent always struggles on these episodes.
I do.
He gets underrated and hipster mixed up.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
That's what I'm
no
saying.
one's ever heard of this, so I'm going to pick it.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, underrated is like, people know it.
I think
they just don't appreciate
underrepresented.
it.
Yes.
Maybe not represented is good, but
Yes.
yeah. So we have a series of categories we're going to go through today, and hopefully, it's so random.
We are all over the place.
We are all over the place from movies to TV to food to
Which is kind of like Baconsale. I've now started explaining to it, like, you know, when people ask me what's Baconsale, like
Food.
It's movies, music, and food. Mm-hmm. Like that's kind of the three things.
We're crossing some new territory on this one.
well represented plus on this episode.
Yes.
Let's get into it.
Let's keep it normal on the first one.
Number
How about
one, let's go to TV.
stay in our wheelhouse.
Underrated sitcom character. Joel?
that? The pantheon of sitcoms, Joel. Where do you go with this one?
There were a lot of choices because you always get the breakout stars. Like, I mean, Urkel was on Family Matters, but you got to realize
I was more of an Urkel guy. But yeah.
there was a lot of
I know.
other characters on there that just don't get credit. But I decided to choose one that may be, I don't know, the whipping boy that I think deserved more than he got.
Okay.
I'm choosing Jerry Gergich from Parks and Rec.
Good pick.
So
Underrated?
Well, I
Well,
say,
it's the thing, The Office and Parks and Rec, they've both found the fandoms that love particular characters.
yes, but I
he's
mean,
not a main character.
When you think of Parks and Rec, you think of Ron Swanson, of course, or you think of Andy, or you think of Tom Haverford or April Ludgate.
I considered Tom from my list.
So they're all there, and they're all like beloved. And then you get Jerry, or otherwise known as Larry or Terry,
Jerry, Larry, Terry, Gergich, Gingrich.
portrayed by Jim O'Hare. But he is, I mean, he's referred to Jerry for the first 5 seasons, so we'll just call him that. But he is the whipping boy of the show. He is the butt of many jokes. He's mocked by his coworkers. His job performance is middling and unspectacular. But he places more importance on his home happy life. And so, like, he gets constantly made fun of at work. For the first little while, actually, for the first season, they didn't know what to do with him. And then the second season, he kind of gets this, he's the office idiot.
Yeah, because there's always a one-to-one from The Office in the start of Parks and Rec, and then it diverts. So essentially, this is the Toby.
Yeah.
But then they're like, well, we can't do that again. Because
Yes.
Toby, legit in The Office, is like a terrible character.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, what if we made Gary, Larry, Terry, Jerry nice?
And he is, like, they don't hate him. They kind of show that in a couple episodes. They don't hate him. They just make fun of him.
What if we made him married to Christy Brinkley?
And then you get to see his home life, and he has an amazingly beautiful wife, an amazingly beautiful home, 3 lovely daughters, and they all love each other and have a great time. Like, has such a happy home life. He doesn't care about work.
I don't know
at all.
if I got
After
that far
retirement.
in the show.
Oh, man, it's great.
Oh, there's a catchy song.
Eggs, bacon, and toast. There's more to it.
I love that happened.
But Ken, I think you need to watch this just so you can see how they pull this off, because it's an amazing thing where he gets totally like worked over at work, but then he gets home and has this amazing home life. So then when you see him get made fun of again, you're like, he doesn't care. And one of the reasons I chose him as an underrated character is because I do feel like he had this amazing thing going on for a while there, and then the writers decided to go a little overkill.
Okay.
And I honestly don't like what they started doing at the end when they started calling him all the different names, and it just got to the point where I'm
It
like,
becomes too sitcom-y a little bit.
just a little kind of like, all right, you're just getting ridiculous with the mockery now. Like, they ran out of things to make fun of him for, so they had to invent stuff to make fun of him for.
Gotcha.
And so I was like, I don't know. But I think he's a hilarious character. He's portrayed by Jim O'Hare. And he did tell his cast members they felt bad about mocking him so much on the show. So whenever they would apologize to him, he would say to him, you're not doing it to Jim. We're all actors.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
it seems like he's a nice guy in real life, too. But I think Jerry is an underrated character in Parks and Rec. And each time I watch it, I do enjoy seeing him.
So I went with the show that I also haven't finished, but I've seen about 3 or 4 seasons. It's New Girl. There are many great characters
still
on
need
New
to watch
Girl.
that.
Not Jess.
Yes, there are many good characters, not the title.
Now, there are times where I think Schmidt, right, is
Schmidt's
probably everyone's favorite character for laughs. A lot of people relate to Nick because he's just very neurotic. But the character people always forget about, other than Jess, is Winston.
Yeah.
I think Winston
He is the forgotten
most-
Ghostbuster.
Well, yes, and yes.
It wouldn't have been if it was Eddie Murphy.
So when this show started out, you had Damon Wayans Jr. playing this guy named Coach. And he was in it for about 6 episodes. And then he went on to go do like another ABC sitcom. And then so this guy named Lamorne Morris, he came in and started playing Winston. And let's be real. They're like, hey, we need a guy that kind of looks like Damon Wayans Jr. to be on the show. And he came in and he was just this very flat character. And everyone's like, okay. But then as the show went on, he became, I think, still kind of the normal one of the roommates, but the hilarious one.
Is he the one from the GIF of "You're making some very good points"?
Yep, that's the one.
Okay, because that's one of my favorite animated GIFs out there.
Yeah.
A few good ones from that show.
And it's really hard to kind of say, like, this is why he's so funny on the show, but he is. Like, the fact that he has, like, a BFF, it's a best feline friend. And I really relate to that because I have one as well.
Literally walking around us right
now.
Yeah.
At one point, he realizes that he's colorblind when he's like 35 years old because he's wearing green shoes. He's like, you guys like my brown shoes? And they're like, those are green. He's like, nah, these are as brown as money. and they're like, and he's like, as brown as Kermit the Frog. And like, I'm trying to explain jokes said on the show.
Yeah.
And the show does get a little tedious, like any sitcom, but Winston just gets better as the show goes on. I love Winston. I feel like people who watch the show, he might be their secret favorite character, but underrated.
Okay. I need to watch that show one day.
Yeah. It's good. It's not great. It's good.
Okay.
Let's make sure you don't set your expectations
Underrated.
too high.
Yes.
All right, mine. This is kind of funny. Mine's much older than those two.
Good.
From an older show.
Yeah.
Mine comes from the show Cheers.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I love Cheers.
Who's
however,
underrated on Cheers?
That's I don't know why I went to that show and I kind of thought through the cast and
Cliff.
I got to one of my very favorite characters.
he's one of the main ones.
And it's unfortunate why I think he's underrated because he wasn't on the show through the whole run. Because unfortunately he passed away. I'm talking about Coach. Coach.
Yep.
Coach
Ernie
was good.
Pantuso.
Good pick.
Coach was good.
He was like the bartender running the bar for the first. It's from 82 to 85. Who was in the show, and unfortunately he did pass away in real life, and so they had to write him out of the show, and he was replaced by Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
And I think that's more the endearing image of Cheers.
Yes.
But I think Woody, who was his character name in the show as well, he does a really good job. He's a good character, but Coach
Was Coach funny, or did he just like humble Sam?
he was really forgetful.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's
He
a
did the
dim-witted
thing.
guy.
He's very dim-witted, but
But not country boy like
Sure.
Woody.
because he was like a sports guy, and so he was
right.
just kind
He
of that
took one too many
classic-
blows to the head. is what
Gotcha.
it
that classic, I don't know what's going on, dim-witted kind of guy. There was the famous, in Simpsons all the time, Bart calls in and Moe calls out the name to the bar.
Right.
Yeah.
There was that moment in Cheers where he calls out, he's like, is there an Ernie Pantuso? He's like, Coach, that's you. He's like, oh, hi, speaking. Like that kind of thing. Very funny character, but again, I feel like he's just underrated because he wasn't able to complete the show.
Yeah, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm amazed that Cheers was able to swap out 3 main characters, I think.
Because you had not Shelley Duvall.
Shelley Long. Shelley Long swapped out with Kirstie Alley. You had
Shelley
Coach
Duvall.
swapped out with Woody. I thought there was one more.
Well, Frasier left, but that was also a
Well,
second.
Frasier
didn't
joined late.
Yeah, Frasier
Oh, he
joined
did,
late.
okay.
Later.
That's what I'm thinking. Is like he became a regular cast member. But I'm amazed that they were able to keep the show going while still changing up the format
Yeah,
a
it's
little
true.
bit.
Yeah, but
Good pick.
yeah, R.I.P. Coach. He's great. I also considered because of Coach, literally just the show Coach.
Is it good?
I like it.
Was it ever funny?
We have a category you could have picked that for. Just saying.
I know, but I'll leave it at that. Next, we have movie theme song. Is this like the tune? What are we talking here?
Well, when you say movie theme song, it could mean like the Superman theme, for example. Well,
Were you thinking instrumental?
well, you could, but
Yeah.
I'm saying in my mind, I went with more of a song that came from a movie.
Oh, we didn't pick John Williams' best work, which is obviously
Superman.
Indiana Jones.
Overvalued?
Indiana Jones.
Yes.
Indiana Jones is so good. Stop that.
Same thing.
No,
Same
stop,
thing.
Kent. I'm on Team Zack here.
Okay. So so you were thinking more of a song sort of featured in, or
Yes.
generally like closing credits kind
like
of
the
thing,
theme
or
of the
maybe
song.
the
Like,
trailer,
you got radio play,
The one that sold the soundtrack.
the single coming from the set.
Yeah.
There we
and yet
go.
it's underrated.
Okay. Kent, what do you have?
So there are great ones to choose, and most are from romantic movies.
Yeah, sure.
With great ballads,
Yeah.
sung by the best divas in the world. I didn't choose a diva. Instead, I chose a
Devo?
song, a Devo, from the best Karate Kid movie, and it is...
from a long time ago. How is that underrated?
No one remembers this song.
Because they
No
think
one
the other
talks
song.
about
I
this
am
song.
the man who will fight.
Well,
for
that's,
your
okay, but
honor.
what the
But if
takeaway
you-
song from the movie?
If you
though?
asked everyone else, what's that song from? They'd be like,
It's Peter Cetera doing a solo
Blood-
career
they'd
post
say-
Chicago.
It'd be like Back to the Future.
if you ask people what's the song from Karate Kid, they'll be like, "You're the best around."
But if you ask them Karate Kid 2, they'll say that song.
Do you think people know that other than us?
I don't know.
I don't think
That's a
so.
good question because it is ingrained in my mind that is from
Because for
Karate
us,
Kid.
that's a noble song.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great 80s song.
Yeah,
but-
it is fantastic.
And look, it's not totally underrated. This was number 1 on Billboard for 2 weeks.
So underrated.
Nominated for Grammy, Oscar, Golden Globe. But I don't think people really recall 80s themes and go, yep, that was one of the best.
I think we do. I think our generation
Well,
does.
because we're dorks.
Well, I
like
think-
we love these sports movies that really ring true to us, the montage movies.
Sports movies.
We don't like sports, but we like sports movies.
Yeah, if you can call them that.
The coming of age sports dramas, like that rings true for us. But in the pantheon of film, not at all.
Let us know, listener, if that is like one you didn't know was attached to Karate Kid 2, because it is, like I said, so
Like-
ingrained in my mind that I'm like, how do people not know that?
Yeah, of course people should know this song because it's a great
This
song.
is why I
but-
know Peter Cetera is because of that song.
Yeah. I wonder if people could even place the name of the singer, though, at this point.
Used to be in Chicago.
Yeah.
Stay up for our Chicago show.
Wow.
My choice for this one is kind of bizarre, and it's kind of an off-kilter choice for me. I didn't know where to go with this because, again, there's so many good songs and good movies.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wanted to go, like, this isn't really that good of a movie, but the song's great. First thought went to either... either Batman Forever or Batman and Robin. But honestly, those soundtracks are so good and they sold great. And
Yeah.
so I don't think they're underrated.
Better than the movies.
The soundtracks are better than the movies. But
Debatable on Batman Forever, but for sure on Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin. That soundtrack's really good. So this one, it comes from a movie from 1998. And honestly, there's really two choices from this movie. The credits, when the credits roll, you hear Sarah McLachlan be, "Hi. What's that song? Angel? Something like that?
Wasn't that Alanis Morissette you were just singing?
Oh, Alanis Morissette. What did I say? Sarah
Sarah
McLachlan?
McLachlan.
Faith Hill's what I heard.
She's also in that movie. That's really stupid.
This is good. No, I love it.
We're leaving that in. This is from the Nicolas Cage classic, City of Angels.
Wow. Wait.
Underrated?
You're not choosing Iris?
I'm choosing Iris.
Okay.
That is like that all the radio played for like a whole solid year.
And
Okay.
it's gone.
What I'm going to say, though, is this is dated and now underrated.
It's
At
now.
that time, it was so overplayed.
It's now underrated.
I would
that
say-
song disappeared. Nobody even knows who the Goo Goo Dolls are anymore.
Well, I think people got so tired of that song and the Goo Goo Dolls, like we were like, oh, okay.
I think it's dated more than underrated.
you listen to that song now, it's so good.
I did make a couple parodies to this.
And I don't want the world. It's so good.
But you're right.
It's so fun.
I don't even like that song, and the song is better than the movie.
The song is better than
I like the song a lot. I did
movies.
not like the
The
movie,
movies
and so
grabbed
it
it.
dragged down the song.
But
Okay.
I was going through and looking at some options, and I started playing this one, and it was the only potential nominee. I listened to the whole song.
Okay.
I was like, this is actually a pretty good song, right? Because it got a ton of radio play, especially on B98.7, which I've said many times I listened to in the late 90s. But this is a song that you go, oh, that does feel like a movie song,
Right.
And it does kind of fit with.
But then you go, what movie was that?
but yeah, exactly.
Once again, so ingrained in my brain, I'm having a hard time separating it here.
It's for me.
I mean, that was our generation, though.
Well,
That wasn't
That's why people
Zach's.
bought the soundtrack.
Yeah, but it wasn't for
millennial
Zack.
talking. As of now, at this point, it has become underrated.
All right.
Okay.
I'm into that.
So, wow. I think I went a different angle than you guys because I went for a song that I think a lot of people know from a movie that a lot of people don't. The year was 1997. And tough trucker Lincoln Hawk is determined to win back his son and triumph at the World Arm Wrestling Championships.
Oh, jeez.
Remember that tough movie starring Sylvester Stallone about arm wrestling and all the awesome manliness there?
Over the top.
Over the top, yeah. What song screams manly arm wrestling?
I have no idea. No way.
Across the sky. This is Kenny Loggins singing Meet Me Halfway.
Wait, hold on. Is this a love song? But he's traveling with his kid?
I honestly don't understand why this. I've watched this movie recently.
Well, obviously they need to connect and bond.
I love this song. Can we go-
This is
so good.
this is Kenny Loggins.
This is Kenny Loggins.
Man, ran out of steam.
This was his 6th soundtrack single and his 13th top 40 single, but it peaked at number 11 on the regular chart, and on adult contemporary it was number 2. It never got that number 1.
I mean, he has 2 of the greatest, absolutely not overrated at all, perfectly rated, perfect songs.
Danger Zone and Footloose. Which I almost picked Almost Paradise from Footloose because everyone remembers Footloose.
Right.
No one remembers Almost Paradise was in that movie as well.
Good one.
But it's a fantastic song. But this one, I just want to paint the scene for you, okay, of his music video for this.
Please.
In the music video, it shows Kenny Loggins walking to a bar where he starts singing. Then he walks on a highway carrying his guitar. He then stops at a nearby stand and then walks into the desert. And then clips of the movie are in it.
That's
So
the
deep.
story?
That's music video. Which I was like, that's like every music video in the 80s.
Yeah.
Now, the movie is not that great. It's not. It's
Did
not.
you not for years try the over-the-top
of
method?
Of course
if
I
we arm
did.
wrestled right now, you would do it.
I totally would. Let's go. But it's just it's a silly concept, and the film tries to be way too serious, as evidenced by this song.
Wow, yeah, you're
and
right.
yet this song, every time I hear it, I get a little misty-eyed.
Does Sylvester Stallone fall in love in that movie?
There
just bond with his son?
is a love interest, but I don't remember that being the main focal point.
Because that song is a little too schmaltzy.
Isn't it just about him winning a truck?
And the respect of his son.
It's about a truck.
Meet me halfway, Zack. So yes, Meet Me Halfway by Kenny Loggins. I highly recommend it. If you love 80s love ballads, this is one you should add to your collection.
Nigel, you win that one. That's fine.
That's something.
Because, it's not a well-known song, and yet, I don't know, Zach, were you familiar with that one at all?
I guess I've heard it because I've seen the
And
movie.
you knew the movie.
but
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
But this
know
song
the
does not fit the movie, and I just feel like it's completely underrated.
That's
'cause It's a
awesome.
fantastic song.
It's probably a track I skipped on my Kenny Loggins CD.
So you could get to Pooh Corner.
Now, of course, we've talked movies, we talked music, we've talked TV. The next staple of Baconsale, of course, is food related.
Sort of.
Kind of. We're doing underrated condiment.
Yeah.
What?
Which we could do a whole show about
In
condiments.
fact,
we will do
we
a
should do.
Let's not overuse anything we got here.
We're going to go season 11 of Baconsale.
All right, Zach,
We'll
since,
have a condiment tearing show.
I'd rather you start on this one, please.
Okay, I'm going to. And this one is kind of weird, but this feels like in the spirit of something like Joel would do.
Okay.
But here's what's underrated. I don't have something specific as far as a singular condiment. It's a little bit of a cheat.
Okay.
But
I'm listening.
this is my underrated is the sauce that you get from the restaurants. So like you go to Mobetta's locally and you get the terry sauce. You go to the grocery store. You get
terry sauce.
terry sauce.
Teriyaki sauce?
I don't think it's officially teriyaki, so
You
they
can't
shouldn't call
legally
it that.
call it. It's like buttery spread from KFC.
You go to the grocery store, you get Chick-fil-A Polynesian sauce or Chick-fil-A sauce.
Yeah.
J-Dog's is a hot dog place.
J-Dog
you get the
sauce.
J-Dog sauce. You
Yeah.
get the winger sauce, whatever.
So you're saying the house sauce?
You buy the house sauce, you take it home, you grill up chicken, you throw it on there, boom, for substantially
Got
less
yourself a
money,
stew.
you are eating like what feels like.
So you're going to restaurants putting sauce in your purse so you can take it home and cook with it later in the air
There's so
fryer.
many of these now at this point that you can buy, because here's the thing. When it comes to these, like
We have a bottle of Chick-fil-A sauce in our house.
when it comes to these franchise restaurants, like having worked at a larger franchise, they don't make their sauces. They get them from a bottle themselves. So the stuff that you're getting is exactly the same because it all comes from a
You're
bottle.
saying winger sauce is not original to every winger's location?
Just saying. It's Sizzler.
You're saying the ketchup at McDonald's is not hand brewed in the back?
There's hands in it.
At Sizzler, they had Malibu sauce that we got in a jar.
What is Malibu sauce? Can you explain that?
Literally mayonnaise and mustard and nothing more.
That's it.
Yeah, we ran out one time and we pulled up the procedure for the recipe, and I was like, okay, here we go.
So it is
We're gonna
handmade
find
at
out.
the store.
It could be, but it's not.
Okay.
It comes in a jar. So that's my little cheat, my little hack.
Wait. So that's your choice. Your choice
That
is
is
the cheat.
underrated because here's the thing.
House sauce.
You
How do you even explain house sauce? Wherever you're going,
wherever
that's a
you're
good
going,
sauce.
you like that stuff? If they sell a bottle of the sauce, buy it. Take it up. Again, Mobetta's Hawaiian food locally. You go and get their sauce. Go home and grill your chicken. You're saving a substantial amount of money.
Your underrated thing is just it's kitchen hack. It's a dinner hack.
It's a hack.
Use the sauce from the restaurant on
Use
your
the
own
sauce
food.
from the
It'll
restaurant.
taste like that food.
Save a bunch of money.
Bring a little empty bottle.
Or do that.
I think we need to have more of Zack hacks on the show.
Zack hacks. Fine. And if you didn't like that,
I didn't.
I'm just.
I like the idea.
I'm just going to simply
It's
say
saving money.
Whole grain mustard.
Ew.
Oh,
I know you'd say that.
wow. Okay. Let's go back to the house sauce.
I can't not mention a mustard. Just saying.
That's true.
Yep. Legally obligated.
Yes,
it's right
I
here in
have
your
to.
contract.
There we go. Joel.
So for me, the condiment I chose to be overrated is Louisiana hot sauce. You know what? Tabasco and Frank's hot sauce get all the glory. but there is something special about Louisiana hot sauce. Have you guys tried it before?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
There are places with their own Louisiana hot sauce that they don't quite work.
Well, this is like the original Louisiana hot sauce,
Yeah.
like the bottled stuff. But this goes great on rice dishes. My dad makes a nasi goreng, which is an Indonesian fried rice, and this goes fantastic on that.
All right.
Ever since I watched Birds of Prey,
Yes.
I have put Louisiana hot sauce on my breakfast
You're right.
sandwiches.
It's so good.
And we ran out of sriracha, and there's a huge sriracha shortage going on right now, apparently. And so I ended up using this as some Chinese food, and it worked out well. So if you don't know what Louisiana hot sauce is, it's kind of a sister to Tabasco sauce. It's cayenne peppers, which are aged for 1 year, fermented in vinegar and salt. It's basically just fermented vinegar, salt, and peppers.
Yeah.
And yet it has this kind of really good flavor to it.
I do prefer that to Tabasco all day.
Do you?
Yeah. Tabasco is just okay for me.
But Tabasco's like gets all the fame and glory.
Yeah.
But I like Louisiana hot sauce, and I use it fairly regularly. Tabasco to me, sometimes the flavor could be overpowering.
Isn't it funny how vinegar can be like, hey, it's buffalo sauce, which I love.
Yeah.
But if you're having like Chinese food, no.
Yeah.
Then you need something like even Louisiana hot sauce would be good, or sriracha. It's like vinegar in its different forms.
Yeah.
Works.
It works. So yeah, Louisiana hot sauce is my choice. I recommend it if you haven't tried it.
Okay.
Not
I know,
straight.
I
That'd be
don't
weird.
know what I picked. I know we did condiment for the overrated show. I don't know if I picked Tabasco, but I should have.
I think you did ketchup because ketchup's gross.
Yeah, I don't like ketchup. But
So,
Yeah,
Tabasco.
some of
to
these
me-
do have sister categories on our overrated show.
Yeah, Tabasco to me is super overrated. But
I
shout
agree.
out to Tabasco Green. That's very
Oh,
good.
okay.
I'm more of but I'm Team Cholula all the way.
I do like Cholula.
Here we go.
Save it for our hot sauce show.
I'm so excited.
Ugh, I can't do that again.
Tiering.
My favorite. Well, maybe it is. I think more people need to know about this sauce. It's sweet chili sauce.
Ooh,
You
I
can
like
find this
that.
in the Asian aisle at your favorite grocery store.
Yeah.
And it looks like the one that's a very thin bottle. I get the one that's, is it Maggie or Magi? I like to say Magi because it's like one of the wise men. But it's comes in a very thin bottle, and you see it's got like globs of pepper flakes. It looks
Yeah,
like
it's
in
like
a
a
very
pink
molasses-based sauce.
Yeah.
This is brown sugar, chili paste vinegar, once again, and salt tomato paste. This is around $3 at any store. You can get... Sometimes people will call Polynesian sauce this if it's got a kick to it. I'm trying to think of like spicy Polynesian or something at some fast food places.
But there was a restaurant, I can't remember the name of it anymore, but like one of their appetizers, they had warm bread and then bowls of sweet chili sauce you could dip it in.
Oh, Iggy's.
Iggy's, it was.
It was Iggy's.
That, how funny that Iggy's existed once.
I think it
No,
still
it's
does
totally
in some
good.
form.
And just
Does it?
up and closed.
I have
Yeah,
no idea.
Iggy's bread was really good, really crunchy, and then you dip it in that
And the
sauce.
sweet
It
chili
was so good.
sauce.
That was a little more liquidy. I like it a little thicker. But I think this is such a versatile sauce because it goes great with chicken, with fries, with egg rolls, with noodles. When we did our McDonald's challenge years ago, I would get the spicy chicken sandwich, I'd put fries on top of it, and then put sweet chili sauce on top of that. And it was amazing.
Well, even on-
and by amazing, I mean like double wide good.
I've had times when it was just like I had a bowl of white rice. I'm like, when are we going to do this? And I put some sweet chili sauce on it.
Yeah.
And it's good.
And it's
Every once
fantastic.
in a while, they'll do sweet chili as a sauce option at Mickey D's.
Yeah.
And it's real good on McNuggets.
Yep, precisely.
I agree.
I mean, it gives them actual flavor.
Now
so,
I'm hungry.
condiments, who knew?
All right. Now we're going off the rails.
Oh, now.
Off the rails. We're doing what's your underrated school subjects?
Cool. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm going to choose an odd one here because I think an underrated school subject, because they don't really do it anymore, is home economics. Because they
Explain what the...
They call it different
They
things.
call it
Yeah.
domestic science or family and consumer sciences.
Well, it's been broken up.
But this is a subject concerning human development, personal and family finances, consumer issues, housing and interior design, nutrition and food preparation, as well as textiles and apparel.
I just made a hot pad for my mom in the kitchen and said, love you, Mom.
Yeah.
And it was like so thin, it burned my hands every time I used it.
So you're crying as you're handing it to her. But no,
Truthfully, home ec still exists.
It does.
It's just been like it's been split up.
which I think it's
I
underrated.
appreciate back in the day, it was like, no, you were going to hit all these various points.
Because I think, don't get me wrong, I think reading, writing, and arithmetic are all very important.
Sure.
And you should do them.
Oh, I didn't pick those.
But it's funny how I don't remember a lot of what happened in my high school classes, but I remember when we were learning how to cook eggs in this class, and things like when we were learning how to use sewing machines and these useful, like everyday household skills that are good to know. And it's important to know. Some people can, get to be an adult and be like, I've never boiled water before. And it's like, well, why? And so I think home economics is one of those subjects that people don't talk about that much because, first of all, it's not called home economics more because that's taboo.
Right.
But also I think this teaches you very valuable things that you will use every single day.
It's true.
As opposed to
Honestly,
geometry.
I wish they were like, hey, bring your dirty laundry. We're going to teach you how to do laundry.
Yeah.
Because when I was like 13, I would have needed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there, of course, there are some parents who teach this in the home, and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
But I do think this is a valuable subject that should get more love.
I'm trying to remember, did they break that up with woodshop as well? Or is that a completely different
Well,
sort of...
when I was in school, which was more recent, obviously, but
Hey,
Hey, your graduation's coming up, isn't it?
yeah, the closest that I ever got to home economics was I think I was in 7th grade.
Sure.
It was TLC.
Oh, yeah.
Technology, life, careers.
Yeah.
And so we had,
We just chased waterfalls in that class.
the technology.
No scrubs though, right?
Was,
No.
The technology was like business and marketing. The careers was woodshop, basically.
Yeah.
And then the life part was home ec. So we did, cooking and sewing and all that. And I was like, oh, that was
well-rounded.
really fun.
Yeah.
And then in high school, like it got specific, right? So I had a foods class. I took a child care class. They let me watch.
Yeah, with the
children.
baby? With the fake baby?
No, like I watched real children.
Oh.
I was like in the class watching kids. They gave me a rotund 4-year-old boy to watch. Like, hey, he's too hard. You can take just him. And then they would, you have like the financial literacy and stuff like that. So, but like having it all in one class is like a little sampler platter.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I think so.
Underrated. Good
I
choice.
wish I would have paid more attention in classes like that.
Well, it's
So I
just
think
life
like,
skills.
Yeah. But then I went home and I never used it, right?
It's funny because everyone's like, oh, they don't teach you anything practical in school. Just the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. But it's like, actually, they did. You just didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of not paying attention, history classes, guys. History classes.
Underrated.
Underrated, and specifically
why?
for me, European history. My sophomore year, I took an AP European history class. I probably didn't belong in because I didn't really care. I sat there and I listened as we talked about every single war that happened throughout Europe. So we talk about all the royal families and how weird they were. We talk about how the Catholic Church ran that continent forever. And then also the dueling popes. Just everything. I think European history is so fascinating.
Why
Really-
was the class so boring then?
I don't know.
That's
the
so
problem,
the
because
teacher?
I think the subject is very interesting. I think the presentation is the problem.
Later in life, we're all like, this is great.
Well,
This
you
is so
get to be a
interesting.
certain age as a dad, and you're like, I'm interested in European history now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I also think it's really tough. Like I remember there was one presentation where we had to like play parts of like philosophers. I think it was John Locke and someone was John Calvin. We had to have a debate, and I'm like, I'm 16 years old. I don't know anything about tabula rasa. And I didn't get it because, I mean, like I said, if I could go back to school, I would dedicate myself to the Utah history, to the world history, to European history. And honestly, I would love to learn about Asian history and just focus in on that. It possibly would have gone through college, and because I have a love for it now, I think it's maybe the dad in me.
Yeah.
History is wasted on the young.
Truly.
But I do feel like I said,
So
it's
that they
presentation.
need the right kind of teacher. Is
Well,
that what
like
you're saying?
there's a YouTube channel called Oversimplified.
Yes.
Where they show these videos of all the different wars that have happened, but it's like this
And they're
stick
so
figures.
interesting.
And I am enthralled by these, and
Yeah.
I've learned so much. And I was just like, what? Why wasn't this part of my curriculum? Not just the videos, but that kind of presentation of like, hey guys, this is really
Yeah.
weird. Keep up.
Because I'm like, who are the Prussians? Where are the Prussians?
They're Russians without a P.
With a P.
With a P.
There's the from the Stuff You Should Know network. They have the things you missed in history class or stuff you missed in history class. Very, very good podcast that it actually goes into the stuff.
Yeah.
Because if you really think about it, especially where we live in Utah, most people walking around here have 7th grade knowledge of Utah history.
Yes.
And it never goes past that.
Because I took Utah history in
You
7th
take
grade.
it in 7th grade.
Totally.
And so
And fantastic. We did a courtroom scene there. It was great.
yeah, we have a Civil War understanding that's like elementary school level, literally.
Yeah.
And you might touch on it again in high school a little bit, but you're tired of it because you're like, oh, man, I heard this in
Boring.
the 6th grade. I know what's going on.
I think the textbooks were a little boring.
Sure.
Maybe.
They'll
I
try.
think I would hate to take history at this point because of just kind of how things have been slanted in schools.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I would devote a lot more time
yeah.
to it.
Yeah. You really need the right teacher.
Yes.
To be passionate about it.
Very true. Zach, what about you?
My underrated school subject doesn't involve your standard arithmetic or whatnot. I think it's something that appeals to specifically the three of us. I want a class where I can be social. I want a class that's not too difficult.
Okay.
I want a class that is super easy to get a good grade. Now, I know this is a little bit weirder in this part of the state, specifically this school district, but I'm taking choir, man. Choir is an
Choir was my second choice.
underrated class.
But did you take choir?
I did choir.
Yeah.
In 11th and 12th
But
grade.
you probably loved it, right?
I never sang before. I walked in and was like, hey, I want an
Really?
easy class.
I
And
did not.
You should have.
Take
You
choir.
took band?
No. I was going to say I didn't do much anything extracurricular until high school, and then I did drama.
You see,
okay, that makes sense.
It's not as much work as drama. Yeah, you got to learn the songs, but learning songs is easier than learning lines. You never really do anything. You're not on the spot.
Yeah, you're never on the spot.
You're one of a crowd. And
unless she's like, first tenors, try harder.
They got soloists.
Yeah,
they do.
You never volunteer.
But you just,
I literally came from a choir concert tonight, and I couldn't be prouder of my daughter.
Yeah, it's very cute. As someone that took choir, that was going to be my choice because it is easier.
Yeah.
Right? You just sit there and you learn parts, and it's kind of fun when it all comes together.
Yeah.
And it's a very social circle.
Exactly. And that's the big thing. And I feel like as far as my school went, you had the most sort of normal people. Like the band was a lot of the burnouts. The theater was the weird kids.
Yeah.
And then you struck this kind of nice balance. You had some.
We were weird, but we were fun.
You had some dancers. You had some academics. You had some band and theater people, of course. But again, it was just about being social and hanging out. Now, in my school district, we literally did 2 concerts a year. And as I understand it, y'all's kids do way too many.
About 6 a year.
Concerts. That's just insane.
One a
to
month,
me.
I think.
I would have hated that as a kid. However, fun class, easy grade. Encourage your kids to do choir. Because they don't even have to sing that well. Just blend.
Yeah, it's true.
And blend in, and you'll have a good time. Next up, we're going on a road trip. And of course, that means getting your underrated gas station snack. Now, I'm an indecisive person.
Well, you have a road trip snack of choice, though.
Well, I'm
but it may not be underrated. It's just like a go-to.
I'm an indecisive person. I can never quite decide. And that's why my underrated snack is so perfect. And I actually went tonight to the gas station and acquired this again just to make sure. And I was right. What do you get when you're indecisive? You get the cheddar mix of munchies. Okay, this is a combination of Doritos, pretzels, Cheetos, and cheddar sun chips. It's
so like
lovely
an unhealthy
variety.
trail mix.
Zach,
Yes,
this
it's
may
like-
be your first true choice for underrated.
Yes.
I'm totally with you on
Yeah,
this one.
it's great for a road trip specifically because of the variety. Right? You're like, do I want a whole bag of pretzels? I'll get tired of that. Do I want a whole bag of Doritos? So on and so forth. No, munchies, you never think about it.
Well, because you bypass them. You don't even look at them.
Exactly. And I was a little bit mad because my stomach can't handle it.
Yeah.
But at the gas station I went to tonight, they only had the Flamin' Hot variety, which is good for some people and bad for me. But I was able to acquire, and I had about half the bag on the way here, and I went, nope, I was right. This is great.
Okay.
This is you don't think about it, but if you have it, you will
really
be
think about
happy
these. That's kind of a mix of a
Yeah,
bunch of
because I'm like,
snacks.
cool ranch. That's all I need. But it is a little
idea.
too much.
Yeah, you get tired of it on the trip. Get yourself some cheddar munchies for when you have the munchies.
Get them on your fingies.
No.
Oh, yeah.
We decided we weren't going to say fingies. That's in your contract.
Cheetle on your fingies.
Cheetle dust.
Stop. So for me, you know what? I'm going to stay on the savory train, Zach. Okay? Because I'm going to go. I'm going to go with corn nuts.
Oh, I can smell it from here.
Because here's the thing.
You're such a dad.
Gummies can get me sick in the car. There's like a strong.
No, but gummies
smell.
aren't even underrated.
No, but they get me sick in the car. Like,
Sure.
It's one thing where I'm like, I like them, but and then with sunflower seeds, I love sunflower seeds, but you have to have a place to spit them, the shells.
It's a lot of work.
And so these corn nuts are filling and they're tasty and they keep you awake on the long drive as well as everyone else in the car with all the crunching and the smell. So keep everyone
Plain
awake.
barbecue. Where are you going with this?
Generally speaking, I like a variety,
Okay.
and I try not to get
Ranch.
them on. Like when
It's
I'm
gotta be
driving, I
ranch.
try.
Oh man, the breath with ranch
is really good. Oh, it's terrible.
boy.
But these really do. They help you keep you awake. They're oddly filling as well.
Yeah, and if you break a tooth, one of those can replace your tooth immediately.
Put it in there.
But yes, they have original ranch barbecue, chili picante, con limon, nacho, and jalapeno cheddar.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, when I'm driving, I don't kind of put them in my hand. I keep them in the bag.
Oh, you just
little
dump
skinny
the bag. You drink the
and I do a
bag.
little bit in the bag, or I kind of grab them with my teeth and kind of just pull it out. Oh, by the way, corn nuts are prepared by soaking whole corn kernels in water for 3 days and then deep frying them in oil.
They are not real corn kernels.
They're real corn kernels. They are
So
actually
is it corn or is
referred
it a
to as
nut? It's actually
concha.
corn?
It's corn. Concha in Peru and chulpi in Ecuador. They went out and got like Cusco corn, the corn from Cusco corn.
I would say
It's
they're
a
healthy,
larger
but
breed.
corn is not healthy whatsoever.
It's not healthy, but it's a filler
Yeah.
vegetable. And this definitely
it's a
will keep
filler
your soul.
snack.
So this is one that I will pick almost every time if we're on a road trip. And I apologize to everyone in the car.
I was going to say, if I was interviewing somebody and I asked them the question of what their favorite gas station snack was and they said corn nuts, I would absolutely not hire them. It's an inconsiderate treat, but it is delicious.
But it's great for staying awake.
Yeah.
So I chose something that's gross that most people consider gross. And every time I see it, I go, gross. Can I get 2 of those? And it's taquitos from 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
They have their, you know how you're not supposed to sometimes like clean an oven too much because you want the other food, the remnants to stay in there.
Cast iron.
Those are the rollers at 7-Eleven. You got years of the dust.
It's the legend.
And the hantavirus.
It's the legend of taquitos past.
But then it's like always the descriptions is like, sauteed onions and peppers,
mercy.
in Monterey Jack cheese and shredded chicken. And you're like, oh, that's gonna taste great. You eat every one. Oh, it's mush inside.
Yeah, it's just mush. It's like
mush.
shredded beef mush in most of them. And you've got the really, really crispy taquito corn shell.
Sometimes a little too crispy.
Sometimes they'll like make special variety. Like you can get like the buffalo chicken roller, which is all processed chicken, looking like a long Cheeto, like a long Cheeto hot dog. But sometimes I'm like, you know what? And these are not my road trip food because I need facilities close by when I eat these. But I enjoy the taste. If I ever find myself at a 7-Eleven, which is rare, and I'm like, you know what? I need an entree right now. I need more than a snack. I will get 2 steak and jack cheese taquitos from 7-Eleven. Those are the best kinds there. I don't care if they've been cooking for 8 hours. That's more goodness.
Now, and that's an interesting distinguishment you made because you're talking about just going there to get something filling. We're both Zach and I are on the road at this point.
Yeah, if I'm on the road, I know what I'm going to get. It's Sour Patch watermelons and Doritos or something.
Yeah.
But no, this is something around
Sour Patch watermelons are the greatest sour candy ever.
Oh, absolutely.
They're so good.
They're rated.
But
Save for our sour candy tiering show.
They're perfectly rated. I don't think anyone likes or will ever order. It's like, it's like seeing your neighbor at a liquor store. You don't really want to be seen there. If someone sees you walk out that little paper sleeve, people are like, what are you doing? Bad choices.
I would agree with you, Ken, except for every time I get one of these, I'm like, okay. And then I eat it. I'm like, I'm disappointed.
Oh, see, I'm fine with them.
You do, definitely. It's like when you trip or something in public, you look around to see if anybody saw you. Like you do, like, is anyone around? Okay, I'm going to get the taquito.
Well, even
Same with
even the clerk seems surprised when you ask for one of those. They're like, really?
This has been here for 4 days.
I've only been filling up Slurpees and checking out corn nuts this whole time.
Literally, I forgot
this
to
guy
take
bought a
this
bag
off
of
the
munchies,
Turner.
and I thought that was weird. But now this guy's buying the actual roller food.
So I truly feel this is underrated because no one wants
Do you get
this.
the
I don't
the
like
cheese or the chili that comes out of the nozzle?
I don't.
Do you get that on your top of your taquitos?
With the meat dispensers and me do not mix. So I'd rather not. Nacho cheese, fine. Meat dispensers, no.
It's not meat. It's like
Okay.
It's like beans and soy.
Meat paste. Gross.
That's what they used to call me in college. Now, we're going off the rails here. I can't explain this one. This was suggested by my wife. But what's your underrated over-the-counter drug?
Excuse me? Excuse me, Zach?
Drugs.
Drugs. So wait, we're talking drugs on Baconsale?
Over-the-counter drug. Because let's be honest, we have them.
Wait, is there an under-the-counter drug?
No, it's just they have the over-the-counter. You can buy them directly over the counter. You don't require a prescription.
Okay, this is so weird.
You
This
hand it
is
to them
really
over the counter.
strange.
They hand it back. No doctor is the middleman here.
Guys, the most underrated over-the-counter drug is Advil. This is the weirdest thing. I'm talking about Advil and Baconsale, and I'm about to promote Advil real quick.
Not a sponsor.
But here's the thing. It's absolutely my honorable mention.
Okay, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Wait, are we talking like name brand Advil?
Yeah,
or just
name
like
no.
ibuprofen?
Oh, okay.
Well,
I'm
can
gonna
we
tell you why
talk-
name brand Advil. Okay. Because
the
everyone's like
sugar coating.
It's the sugary coating.
No, so, that's the thing. So I go to someone's house. I'm like, I kind of have a little
Please
headache.
use it responsibly, kids.
And they go, hey, do you want some ibuprofen or some Tylenol? And I'm like, huh, huh. I'm like a cat with a hairball. I'm like, I can't swallow those pills. They're too big.
They're still spicy. Why is that?
But then I always keep in my car or at home. You guys see, it's a huge bottle of Advil because I go, oh yeah, it's like candy I could chew on.
Oh, goes down.
You eat
goes
those?
down
No, of course I
chew them?
don't. But when I was learning how to swallow pills, they were kind of like I would chew them. And in fact, I've told my kids, even if you have to chew these to swallow them, they're not going to gross you out. Like you take these with a glass of water. Granted, they're also the easiest to swallow because they have the candy coating as well. They are. Don't
Kids,
say
they're not candy. They're not candy. They're
Okay.
medicine. Use
candy
them
like
responsibly,
coating.
kids.
They're like candy.
Don't
for
use
adults.
them unless you need them, kids.
When your back hurts, they're candy.
And that's the thing. Sometimes I go, are Advil placebos? Because I'm not really sure. But for me, they work. And it's crazy. Sometimes one
They're
Advil,
literally sugar pills.
which is 200 milligrams, is pretty weak, but it does the trick because I kind of believe that
But
it's working.
ibuprofen is exactly the same.
It's the same, but this one's better because it's candy ibuprofen.
This is a name brand candy as opposed to like the knockoff.
And I would say this is, like I said, for me or for my kids, this is the one to train on. It said, you're going to have to take a lot of pills in your life. Hopefully not too many, but Advil is a good starter.
You do need to eat something when you take ibuprofen, though. Otherwise, it'll eat
True
away your
story.
stomach lining.
Yeah.
It's true.
And don't take too many.
Don't get medical advice from Baconsale,
Please
kids.
don't.
Just don't.
Hey, it's over the counter.
No, don't take medical advice from Baconsale.
All right, Zach, help me out here.
I mean, I agree with your choice. Honorable mention to Advil. It's great. It's like a candy. But
Joel, do you want some? I got some.
No, thank you. I don't have a headache or aches right now.
But you know what's even more like a candy?
Go
you know
on.
what comes in assorted berry, assorted fruit, and smoothie?
Tums.
That's right. It's Tums, baby. Oh, yeah.
gosh.
I didn't know how great these were until I got
don't-
old.
Do I need Tums?
You need Tums.
You need Tums.
What kind is best? Because I've tried the chalky ones. I don't like them.
Smoothie.
I got these gummy, like not gummy ones, but they're chewy ones.
Explain when I would drink Tums. That sounds so
You don't
weird.
drink Tums.
The smoothie, he said.
No, it's flavored. It's
No,
like tablets.
it's a tablet.
Oh,
They're all
okay.
tablets.
It's a little
Okay.
less chalky, a little softer.
And so if I eat something that my tummy doesn't agree with, then I take one, or do I take
Yep.
one right after?
No, you take it if you start feeling cruddy. That's when you take a Tums.
Oh, okay. So I should bring Tums on dates.
I have some. Oh
Yes.
man, this is way more information I should share on Baconsale.
Go on.
I just have some on the side of my bed in case I have heartburn at night.
Oh, and
So
it
that's
does.
like in my drawer.
Is it quick acting?
Oh yeah. If I'm having heartburn in the middle of the night, I go over, open the drawer,
Tums.
eat the Tums, and then go back to bed.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
And they're chewable.
I have a little pocket sized in my car right now. This very moment.
Like
We were
certs?
so old.
Yes.
We were so
it's
old.
like a
you
Tic
guys.
Tacs pack.
Wait, no, you guys are teaching me a lot,
Yes,
actually.
It's so great.
No,
And
Tums is great.
it tastes good. It helps you out a lot. Now, with my own personal problems, because I've said on the show before, everything makes me sick.
Yeah.
I'm now an omeprazole guy. That's like
Oh yeah, it's brand name.
Prilosec.
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
heartburn medicine.
Yeah, that's the big boy stuff. But
Okay.
Tums, it's like you're having a little bit of reflux, and you can take that, it starts to feel a little bit better, and if you burp, tastes good.
Gross.
Tums,
This could
underrated.
be a lifesaver.
Do you get heartburn at night?
No, here's why I go on a date, and I just had a big meal, right? So we went out, and my tummy goes,
Tums.
It's like, hey, you want to make out, but it tastes like mixed
and
berry.
then they go, are you still hungry? And I go, yeah. And I'm not hungry.
Wow.
Tums. Guys, you changed my life.
Yeah.
Move over, Advil. I got Tums.
Tropical smoothie variety, mixed berry.
Tropical smoothie got pineapple.
Hey, Joel, help us out here. Joel,
Well, I'm not going.
What's
for,
your over-the-counter drug?
please say melatonin. Please say melatonin.
No, melatonin is very helpful for getting children to fall asleep
Yeah.
naturally.
Yes, it is.
Although you don't want to do too much, otherwise they
Right.
can become dependent on that and not fall asleep. on their
Agreed.
own. Don't get your medical advice from Baconsale.
Thanks for the disclaimer.
My underrated over-the-counter drug, and I've talked about this a number of times on Baconsale before, is Bonine or Bonine. I don't know how to say it
explain
exactly.
what this is again.
Bonine, Bonine.
Okay.
It's an antihistamine used to treat motion sickness, dizziness, and vertigo.
So Dramamine, but really easily accessible.
No, and Dramamine makes you drowsy.
Okay.
Bonine, not as much. If you like, usually I'll just take one. Like when I went on my honeymoon, we went on a cruise and we were worried about getting motion sick. So we heard horror stories about people just getting sick their whole time in their
Right.
honeymoon. It was terrible. We would take one at dinner every night, and these are chewable. Although I don't recommend chewing them because they taste like that bitter,
Gotcha.
kind of flavor. They say
Yeah.
chewable, but we just took one a night. Just drank it, tiny little baby pill, and it's good for 24 hours. It works. So you wait about it. Like when I go to Lagoon, I take it about an hour before, and then I go to Lagoon, and then I can go on rides. Now, I don't push the limits because when I get off on certain rides, I can tell my body wants to start feeling motion sick, but it's not. And if I calm down and don't go on any for a bit, I'll be fine.
Okay.
But in 2020, it was the 142nd most commonly prescribed medication in the United States.
Okay.
But it does
Climbing up the ranks.
It does cause a dry mouth, and if you do take, I know someone that I took my advice and they took 2 of them, and it made them really drowsy. And I'm
Okay.
like, why'd you take 2? One is good for a day. But this is the wonder drug for cruises, for rides. I took them before Disneyland every day, every night with dinner before. I'd just take it, and the next day I'd be fine. I'd be thirsty, but I'd be fine.
Bonine.
Bonine or Bonine,
Okay.
whichever one you want to say. But that is an amazing over-the-counter drug, not a sponsor. Don't take medical advice.
This
from
is
Baconsale.
already one of my favorite segments we've done all years. Yeah. Advil.
Now we're moving back to food with your underrated donut. Donut flavor. We're going to general flavor, right? It's not like this one specific one from this one place.
No. I think it's just kind of an underrated donut that anyone can access.
Joel?
So there's so many fancy donut flavors now. I mean, there's you think of a flavor, it's probably been put into a donut.
Sure.
But I think there's something simply delicious about the powdered donut. In fact, gentlemen, I would probably put the powdered donut above the glazed donut.
Really?
Because I find the powdered donut so very tasty. Yes, very messy.
Do you like a sense of danger
Are
from
we
choking
talking
on it?
powder with something in the middle?
No, we're talking straight
Raspberry?
up just powdered donut. Either the mini powdered donuts or the powdered donut
You
holes.
better
or
be
just
wearing
donut.
all white that day.
Yeah, because it does get everywhere.
Yeah.
But there's something so good about this. The way it just comes together in your mouth with
And then the coughing that happens right after.
If you don't inhale while you eat these, don't take medical advice from Baconsale. But it's so much better than those stupid crumb covered donuts they have in the
Those
same
are
variety
terrible.
packs.
Sure, yeah.
But I think the
Yeah, you get
powdered
the
donuts,
chocolate, the powder, and the crumb.
Yeah.
You just throw the crumb away.
yeah, because they're crummy.
Yeah.
But the powdered donut,
That's good.
I think, is underrated because it is so good, and yet people kind of push it aside for all these other fancier ones.
You're on the right path, but you're missing a lot. Take out that donut hole, make it a full donut, keep the powder, but add Bavarian cream in the middle.
What?
A
A powdered donut with cream in the middle?
Yeah, so it's basically a kind of a jelly donut, powdered donut, but Bavarian cream in there.
It sounds
So,
like a Kent invention. Every powdered donut filling I've had has been in jelly.
Raspberry.
yeah, raspberry, lemon,
Yeah.
That's what separates Bavarian cream from Boston cream, which is kind of a donut eclair, essentially.
those are good, too.
Boston cream has the chocolate on top,
Right.
and then the custard in the middle.
Yeah.
Think of that, but take away the chocolate and cover it in powder, and that's Bavarian cream.
I'm intrigued by this.
Eat this. It is amazing. And granted, sometimes it's a gamble. You kind of have to look through the donut's mouth. The donut mouth, I'm going to say that while being
donut mouth.
appropriate.
It's yeah.
Look through the
Okay.
donut mouth and make sure that you're not getting lemon through there or even just the white cream from Krispy Kreme.
Hold up.
Because that's not very good. Yes. Yeah,
When you said sugar, I thought you meant like powdered sugar.
powdered sugar on the outside.
But this looks like granulated sugar on these ones. Like
No,
honestly,
just those ones.
this looks like a bolo de Berlin. Like they have
Granted,
in
there are some
Portugal.
old-fashioned donuts with granulated sugar that are also good.
Yeah.
But you want the powdered sugar Bavarian cream donut.
I think as far as donut flavors, fruit is a little underrepresented. Especially like you have your jelly filled, that's fine. But like just a kind of a fruit donut,
Blueberry?
blueberry cake donuts.
Oh,
Underrated because I feel like everyone chooses those
that is
first.
my first pick in a variety donut box.
Still think you don't think about it with
Like
donuts.
the selfish people pick
That's
those first.
all I think about when it comes to donuts.
but you get them,
even though it makes
and
my
they're great.
teeth feel weird when I eat them.
Yeah, a little bit. So essentially a fried muffin at this point.
true
But
story.
it's you got your chocolates, you got your maples, that's all great. But there's something that you have to get your refined palate to reach the level of greatness that is the blueberry cake donut.
So good.
And I feel personally, I have very recently achieved it, and I'm proud of myself. I have moved past the chocolate ring into the blueberry cake.
Is it fully glazed?
It can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was going to say I've been a blueberry cake donut fan since childhood.
Really?
Makes
I've
sense. You've always liked
always
white chocolate
I
too.
probably
so-
literally.
What?
Yeah.
It's blueberries.
Taste buds of a 40-year-old.
No, I just had
I
my
know.
first one, I would say maybe 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah, seriously.
And you're immediately taken with it
Love it.
so good.
because your dad now.
I was like, what have I been avoiding this for?
You gonna sit there eat that watching World War II documentary.
I'll tell you
It's
what,
true.
because blueberry muffins aren't very good.
What?
But blueberry donuts are amazing.
Whoa. Blueberry muffins are the tier
Nah,
one
man.
muffin.
Joel, muffins
Name
aren't
a
very
better
good.
muffin
little-
than a blueberry muffin.
Poppy seed.
Oh, no.
Yeah, absolutely.
All muffins are bad.
Wow.
okay.
So many controversial
Move on,
takes.
move on.
I don't know which eye contact to make. With
Stop.
whom. What happened?
Still fighting on the underrated show.
Fine. Let's move forward. We have, what is your underrated superpower?
Okay, I'm going to start on this one. There are so many I wanted to pick, but I'm going to go with stretchy skin.
Stretchy.
Not stretchy like Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Precisely. I think Mr. Fantastic has always kind of been a joke because he's the leader of that group and he's got stretchy skin. Like, what can you do? I'm going to tell you what you can do, and it's not very super. It's just everyday stuff. It's like,
Elastigirl.
Elastigirl. Yeah. That's all I have to say.
Saying.
Super cute.
Done.
What just happened?
So I'm sitting on the couch and I'm like, I'm kind of hungry. Oh, I'm going to stretch all the way into the kitchen, grab a soda, grab a poppy seed muffin.
But Ken, have you ever tried to reach something like behind when you're driving, trying to reach down and grab something?
I'm glad you brought that up
You're gonna
because I could
fumble
do
around.
that too.
But let's say you're going to fumble around.
You can go flat.
You don't have eyes when you're reaching all
Half
the way over
my
there.
face can do this.
Oh, that's weird.
Because I really did it in real life.
Audio podcast.
I could use the bathroom, not miss anything on a show. I could stretch my neck to watch the show. These are all lazy things, by the way. I could get things under a couch. Super easy. You know that little crack, like the black hole in your car between the center console
Yeah.
and your seat?
Oh, yeah.
You could reach your hand through there and get hundreds of dollars.
And a
the
bunch
chapstick you lost 3
of
years
lint.
ago. Yeah, that
Crumbs.
too.
from those donuts.
You could be the best cuddle buddy ever. You would be a human blanket. You could wrap your whole skin around somebody.
That would be unsettling.
That sounds weird.
Oh, no, I'm done. I was with you till then.
Christmas lights would be a cinch. I don't need a ladder.
good.
I got stretchy skin. Like this is
Why
just,
did this turn into like a late night infomercial?
Are you having problems
not
with
follow our
ladders?
advice.
Try stretchy skin.
The black and white before is me putting up
But,
Christmas
hey,
lights.
Hey, do we need to paint the house? Easy. Done. I got stretchy skin. Okay, that's my
Can't
answer.
Oh, save the day, but you can make your life.
I think it's
less-
I
underrated.
guess I'm saying stretchy
Convenient.
skin though, because I'm just picturing like loose skin on your face.
That's what's going to happen when we get older. But also, you don't have to worry about being lazy and being unhealthy because you could make your skin look like whatever you want it to.
You can
And-
still stretch out.
Meanwhile, your interiors are just going, please exercise, please. Get off the couch, kid.
Zach, what do you got?
Obviously, we've had, we're in the winter season as a date of recording. We've very recently, last week, had a big winter storm. That just reminded me that weather control, Storm.
Well,
She's the only hero that really does it.
Storm is so cool, but it's underutilized and represented.
It is. And because I think,
So you're talking control, not like necessarily in Encanto when the weather is affected by her mood.
No. It's like weather control. Like I'm gonna make a storm appear here. I'm going to remove this snowstorm from specifically only my driveway.
That's selfish.
Right.
You're a super villain.
So this is inspired by recent events.
Yeah, well, and just in a general sense, every sort of superhero you see, everybody's got super strength or speed or flight or teleportation, but I can think of really one hero who does the weather thing. And I want that. I think it's an underrated and awesome power, and if you think about it from the context of fighting crime, you can do cool things with it.
Zach, you're on a date with your wife, and you want that perfect moment.
Yeah.
Rain cloud right above the two of you, kissing in the rain.
Warm rain coming down. It's just wonderful.
Amazing.
We're going to have our notebook moment.
Nice.
But then again,
I'll
for
reach
the-
over with the umbrella with my stretchy arm.
Let's be honest. If I have these superpowers, I'm not doing anything superhero-y with them. It's all about the convenience. It's
Exactly.
like painting your house. And in this, I'm making
That was
sure.
the most productive thing Kent said he was going to do with those
Grabbing
powers.
a snack is productive.
For whom?
Me? My mouth?
I now can walk around in ideal weather all the time.
I love that.
I'm just saying, it's an underrated ability.
Okay.
I get it. That actually was going to pick that. It's funny that the last time we did the underrated episode, it was 5 years ago in 2018, because also in 2018, we did Baconsale episode 152, with great power comes great immaturity, where we tiered superpowers. And I listened to it again. It's a fun listen. I encourage you to go listen to it. But one of the things I talked about, I thought about was, people talk about super strength, super fun. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Teleporting would be amazing. Flying
okay.
would be okay. So you went for the same joke.
Okay, there we are.
But I have the floor. But I really do think healing is such an underrated power. Because people all the time talk about Wolverine. Oh man, his claws, they're amazing. That's not a superpower.
Claws exist because he can heal.
He had the claws, but he didn't have that
Self-healing or
adamantium.
healing others?
See, that's the thing. There's a blurry line there
Sure.
between if you can heal yourself, can you heal others? But I just think that having that ability, be like, oh, I got a paper cut. It's gone now. I don't have to wait for that to heal or get lemon juice on it or hand sanitizer on it.
You
It's just
wouldn't
gone.
fear anything.
No. Well, I'd fear pain because pain happens.
Okay.
But then you can heal it quickly
Sure.
after. But also just being able to, heal others as well. Like, who is that? I can't remember who it is. They put their hands on them and it glows and then they feel better. I can't remember right now. My brain's
Something
not
biblical.
No. different power altogether.
I mean, you made me go there. It's combined with I didn't want to say.
It's combined with walking on water.
I can't remember the show right now, but they can restore organisms to optimal health. Nope. I can't even say family friendly to you right now because that's totally family friendly. Just irreverent. But the limits, of course, the patient still has to be alive.
Yeah.
Otherwise, or even hanging on thread, still a spark of life has to be there because once they're gone, they're gone.
It would be such a difficult power to know when to use and not to use, right? Because the power could get to your head.
Oh, totally.
Or allowing the natural selection to occur.
Right. But I'm even thinking like Wolverine, just like with his healing self power, where he can heal from anything.
Right.
And people always talk about, his, strength or his adamantium claws. But
Right.
I'm like, it's the healing that
It
allowed
really
him
is.
to get all that. And so that's why I think healing is underrated.
Okay.
It's a good thing I can control weather because the bacon cave's getting hit by lightning.
I've
Thank you, Zach.
got indigestion. Don't need Tums. I just healed it. Hey. Boom.
Oh,
Headache, aches and pains, gone. No Advil.
We're taking a turn into one of the more rare categories on Baconsale. This is video games. What's your underrated video game hero?
What's your Zack?
Mine? I think this is a bad choice. I don't think it's that underrated. He's got a game coming out, but this is a Star Wars character. And I think just in general, there's all these, especially with the sequel trilogy and the series and everything, we've got these new characters. And this guy has somehow flown under the radar, and he's one of the best Star Wars characters in the whole canon. And that is from the game Jedi Fallen Order, the main character, Cal Kestis. He is
no idea who that is.
Yeah, he's a youngling survivor of Order 66.
Oh, I saw that. She had a red lightsaber and tried to kill Darth Vader when he was standing right in front of her.
Cameron Monaghan plays the character.
Yes, who you might know from, I'm sorry, Joel, Gotham?
He's actually really good in Gotham.
Yeah, he's the good part of Gotham.
Really good.
Wait, who is he in Gotham?
Joker.
He can't be called the Joker.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, not Joker.
I know who it is.
Yeah. But Cal Kestis is, again, he's an interesting character because he was maybe, 12 years old or something when Order 66 happens. And he goes into hiding. When you first meet him in the game, he's in a scrapyard of Republic ships and stuff like that. And he's just trying to keep his ability to use the Force on the down low. And events happen that force him to, use the Force and use his lightsaber and things like that. And so you go on this journey with him to sort of try and reestablish the Jedi Order. But he's just a really interesting, sympathetic character. They add a Force power to him, but it doesn't feel weird like it does with Rey or with Kylo Ren. And the ability to sort of feel the memories of an object, and you use that in the game.
And he's not OP either.
No, he's
in
not.
a lot of Star Wars games.
Overpowered.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're as you go through the game, you sort of recall some of your training and get abilities throughout. And then a shout out to arguably one of the best droids in all of Star Wars as well, your buddy BD1, who helps you in your adventure. Honestly, going through and playing as his character is great. I like him better than anything Disney Star Wars has put out, even Mandalorian. I like his character better than the Mandalorian.
If anyone watched the Obi-Wan series where they had the Inquisitors, that's his story instead, but done better.
Much better.
Okay.
In Fallen Order.
So
Yes.
I would say if you're a Star Wars fan, worth checking out the game just for Cal Kestis, or at least, watch some clips on YouTube. He's a great character. And because they have Cameron Monaghan playing him, fully possible that he may show up in a live action series. And I would love it because he really is awesome. Joel?
I've got 3 letters I would like to say now. Which is TKO, because I'm talking about Little Mac from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Little Mac.
Seriously, so he's the little boxer in the main protagonist in Nintendo's Punch-Out, and he's fighting guys 10 times his size. Who is in charge of the weight classes in this
Sometimes
world?
twice, by the way.
It's insane. I found out, by the way, after doing the research here, he's 17 years old across all the Punch-Out games. That's how old. He's a 17-year-old fighting these monstrous boxers in front of him. He's 5'7" and weighs 107 pounds.
Wow.
The guy is just
He
tiny.
bobs and weaves like no other, though.
And yet he goes into it with no fear. Well, maybe a little fear whenever I got to Mike Tyson.
Yeah. Or ball
But-
bold the second time.
Second time is hard. Yeah. First time's easy. Nintendo Power listed Little Mac as their 11th favorite hero, stating that he taught gamers that more intimidating foes can be overcome by patience, persistence, and pattern recognition.
Hey.
So, Little Mac is an inspiration to them, and he's an inspiration to me. And I think he's underrated because, man, that guy can take a punch.
He's a really fun character to play in Super Smash Brothers as well.
Yeah.
Was he? Okay. I went modern on this one. Oh, semi-modern, maybe 7-8 years ago. I went with Talion from the Lord of the Rings games, Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War.
Considered it as well.
So
You guys
Talion,
both went geeky on this.
very geeky.
I went
So
old.
These games are non-canon, considering where Lord of the Rings is at, but should absolutely be canon because, I mean, they change a few story segments, but they are basically following the story. Essentially, Lord of the Rings is happening, and there's a ranger who's trying to get revenge for his family being killed by a general of Sauron. And so he is basically doing everything behind the scenes because, Lord of the Rings is just about a fellowship traveling. And you're like, that's a pretty simple story when there's an entire war happening. This is the guy that's behind beating the bad guys in the war. And the game is really fun. I mean, you're cutting off orcs' heads constantly, so maybe not totally family friendly, but there's a cool story here where he's got this wraith-like ability. It's almost like a Nazgul sort of thing. But the stories in this are really fun. The gameplay is fantastic. If you haven't played these games, definitely do. But Talion is someone, when I got to the end of the game and they kind of wrapped it up as far as the actual movie trilogy go, I go, why isn't that recognized? Why didn't Amazon buy the rights to this and just make Talion's story? Because
messed
truly,
it up.
it would have been amazing.
Same reason they didn't do Jedi Fallen Order
Yeah.
either.
Maybe, eventually.
And for our final category in this random yet somehow not random because Baconsale category, we have movie villain.
Start on movies and then movies. I like
Who
that.
is your underrated movie villain, Joel?
I'm gonna make Kent so happy right now, and I
can't wait.
hate when I make Kent happy.
Can't wait.
Because Solomon Lane has been the really big bad on Mission Impossible films for the past
Mm-hmm.
couple films, which is fine.
It's fine.
But I think Owen Davian, played by Philip Seymour Hoffman, has been completely overshadowed
How?
by
Even
Solomon
in his
Lane.
own movie,
Yeah,
almost. Yeah.
Because he is, if you haven't seen Mission Impossible 3, which is, hey, Kerry Russell's in that. But if you haven't seen Mission Impossible 3, he is this just completely calm psychopath.
Yep.
And it is terrifying how brutal he could be. Like, he just sits there and talks to Ethan Hunt about how he's just going to kill his girlfriend and make Ethan watch. And the way he says it, you're literally scared.
It's weird because those movies aren't known for their acting. Like, they're fine.
Yeah,
But Philip
but they're
Seymour
action
Hoffman
set pieces.
shows up.
Yeah.
And just-
This is one of his best roles, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
He's so good.
And he's an American arms dealer who's looking to find the rabbit's foot, and but he is just ruthless, and he's a megalomaniac. He's a sadist. Like, he really is he's this monster, but he puts on such a calm facade that it's unsettling. And he is, in my opinion, the best villain in the Mission Impossible franchise.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But I do feel like Solomon Lane and to a point have kind of overshadowed that.
Sure.
Where you don't really think about him anymore, because he's not part of this later arc of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But he's part
was
of
a
that
huge
standalone
impact,
thing.
though. Yeah.
But man, I've never forgotten him, and I feel like more people need to watch Mission Impossible to remember how terrifying Owen Davian was.
Yeah, true story.
Is.
Okay. So for mine, most people know Jason Isaacs from his role as Lucius Malfoy from the Harry Potter franchise, which is everyone's like, oh yeah, he's really rude. He's mean to
But
Dobby.
fantastic hair.
He's fantastic hair, and he's just so regal about it.
But
his true villain performance is from The Patriot.
Patriot, yes.
He's Colonel William Tavington, and this guy is one of the best villains in my mind. He is perpetually evil in every way, and he's just smiling the entire time. He actually has this quote where I think he just killed the son of Mel Gibson's character, and he says, it's an ugly business doing one's duty, but just occasionally, it's a real pleasure. Lucius Malfoy is a teddy bear compared to Tavington. And when I saw this movie, what was it? Early 2000, I actually was like, I think I hate British people. Like, they scare me. When they say the redcoats are coming, he is what I picture. Right? When they said, when Paul Revere said that to me, no, that is what I picture. Just this malicious, and I can't imagine the British people like that movie very much, but just this malicious character who caused so much death. Granted, have generals been done maybe better and maybe a little more nuanced with like inglorious, illegitimate children? Sure. But I actually feel like he's not recognized enough. I was looking on AFI's best villains, 100 best villains list. He's not even on there. And I was
Really?
like, come on. I know it's
That's
The
underrated.
Patriot. I know people may not love that movie, but man,
Well, and
he's
the Patriot
so good.
definitely has the unfortunate circumstance of being after Braveheart.
Yes.
Like, I feel like every movie that came after that was kind of this epic drama, a historical drama, has always been compared to Braveheart. And Longshanks definitely does get more recognition.
Well, Lucius Malfoy?
From Braveheart. than
Okay. Yes.
Tavington, was that his name?
Yeah, Tavington.
Tavington.
Yes.
So I get that. I get that he's. Although I do need to watch that movie again. It's been too long. I remember him, but I don't remember fearing him. So.
You'll hate him.
Yeah.
You want to punch him in the face.
I already do.
Yeah.
Look what he did to Dobby.
All right, my choice is a little bizarre. I really appreciate this sort of observation of movies where we go, who is the real villain? Is the villain the person that your protagonist is going against? Is it just the person that you're following and it's his opposition? The villain is always not super clear. But in this case, and this is kind of a weird modern internet choice, but mine is a guy who, a recluse who makes children disappear. That's right. My villain is Willy Wonka. Because here's the thing. Willy Wonka is the
Wait, Gene Wilder or Johnny Depp?
Porque no los dos.
Because
but
one of
more
them is
Johnny
good.
Depp.
Okay, thank you.
More Johnny Depp. But however, Gene Wilder is his character is not necessarily good. I submit that Willy Wonka is the villain of the story because ultimately he's the one that needs to be defeated.
Yeah.
He has a plan in place to specifically make the children fail. If they successfully complete the tasks that he has ahead of them and they make it through the tour, they win. That means he's the villain of this story.
He's the Jigsaw.
Yeah. But he, much like Jigsaw, I would put him in the category of villains that might be right. You know, like they're not true
Teaching
villains,
kids a lesson?
but-
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
teach them not to be a glutton, not to be greedy.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. You only think about yourself.
Just like Jigsaw. You don't appreciate life like I do.
Exactly. Exactly. So, you might not agree with their perspective, but from a certain point of view, right? They could be considered right. And that's what I think with Willy Wonka. And I find him, it's the underrated thing is you don't think of him as a villain, but at the end of the day, the conflict comes from him. That is the conflict in the movie. Therefore, I do believe Charlie Bucket is the hero and Willy Wonka becomes the villain. And specifically...
So not Slugworth.
No, unfortunately. But specifically in the Johnny Depp, Tim Burton version, they lean into that a little bit more. And maybe you feel sympathetic because it's like, my dad was a dentist and he didn't let me have candy, and now I want to kill children. it's just a
Quotable quotes.
little bit of it's a stretch.
Yeah.
But not literally. In that movie, there's a stretch.
I think that's really clever, actually.
He's the villain of the story. You don't think about it, and therefore underrated. Much like I do think over time, the Tim Burton Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, bit of an underrated movie.
I haven't seen it since 2005.
I think time's been kind to it.
Okay.
And with that, we are done with our list.
There we go. So there
that
are
was something.
our random underrated picks. We hope you played along at home. And once again, like we said with the Disneyland touring rides, we want to see your feedback. We want to see what you think
totally love it.
is the underrated over-the-counter drug.
Tums for the win.
But let us know on Facebook. Let us know on Instagram. Let us know on Twitter. We want to hear from you and hear what you think is underrated. And we'll even take suggestions for maybe a future underrated show we'll be doing in 5 years
Sure.
or so. Sure. But before we go, we'd like to give some love to some underrated patrons. I don't know if they're underrated, but we have
Perfectly rated.
our I Am the Listener category with Sir and Madam Hicks, Shannon West, Scott Sprague, Ryan and Marley, Rocky and Steph, Lady Terry A. Finley, Juice the Cooler King Swallow, Jennifer Kielkowski, Debbie Foster, Dave Kelly, Casey Cummings, Briggs is Hot, Braden Winterton, Angela Plotz, Andrew Dancing Through the Fire, Alicia Bass, and Adam and Rachel Crump. And then we have our Bacon Council, which includes the one, the only Chris Anderson, Stephen Everyone's Favorite Ross, Star Wars Expert Kyler, our favorite couple, the Mansons, Nicole D. Kell, Johnny English the Brick, Her Royal Highness Jessica Terry, Glowclin Daniel, and Beaker!
Thank you, patrons.
Patrons, sincerely, I would be willing to shovel half of your driveway.
Just half.
Thank you, patrons. You are the sugary coating to our Advil. Don't take medical advice from Baconsale. But if you want to find me, you can find me at 76Joel on Twitter. You can find me performing with Quick Wits. They perform at the Midvale Performing Arts Center. For more details, go to qwcomedy.com or go to the Quick Wits Facebook page.
If you want to find me at Twitter or Instagram, it's at Kenny3DD. If you want to read my movie reviews, at ShowtimeShowdown.com.
If you'd like to connect with me, you can do so on Twitter and Instagram at Tumbling Mustard. But more importantly, make sure you're following Baconsale. Go ahead and like that Facebook page and visit at Baconsale on Twitter and Instagram. While you're doing that, stop by tpublic.com/Baconsale, where you can get yourself some merch. We shout out to Verbis Vivum, who posted a picture on Instagram.
We saw that.
Wearing the merch. Love it. Thank you. And if you like what's going on here and you want to support us further, visit patreon.com/Baconsale, where support starts at just $3 a month. You can get all sorts of fun benefits, behind the scenes stuff, and of course, the weekly, almost weekly Bacon Bits, where we have a really good time. Maybe too much fun. Patreon.com/Baconsale.
So until next time, you got to keep it underrated. Savor the consistent citrus tang of this Skittle, my friends.
I ran out of breath.
That was the problem. Eggs, bacon, and toast.
Nobody even knows who the Goo Goo Dolls are anymore.
Well, I think...
It's
Did
not.
you not for years try the over-the-top method?
Of course
If
I
we
did.
arm wrestled right now, you would do it.
I totally would.
Isn't it just about him winning a truck?
And the respect of his son.
It's about a truck. It's probably a track I skipped on my Kenny Loggins CD.
So you're going to restaurants, putting sauce in your purse.
You're saying the ketchup at McDonald's is not hand-brewed in the back?
There's hands in it.
But I'm Team Cholula.
How funny that Iggy's existed once. I'm 16 years old. I don't know anything about tabula rasa.
I'm chopping onions.
It's an inconsiderate treat.
They hold hands. It's so cute.
If I was interviewing somebody and I asked them the question of what their favorite gas station snack was and they said corn nuts, I would absolutely not hire them. It's the legend of taquitos past.
Do you guys want to know the jingle for Toys R Us?
Well,
That was great, Zach.
KB Toys, we have model cars and some trains.
We had to talk him out of buying a sword.
Yeah.
I want all the swords.
I have a sword.
So wait, we're talking drugs on Baconsale? I can't swallow those pills. They're too big.
They're so spicy.
Don't
Kids,
say
they're not candy. They're not candy. They're
Okay.
medicine.
Candy
Use them
like
responsibly,
coating.
kids.
When your back hurts, they're candy.
Don't get medical advice from Baconsale, kids.
Please. Are you still hungry? And I go, yeah. And I'm not hungry. I don't need a ladder. I got stretchy skin.
He went for the same joke.
Okay, there we go.
But I have the floor.
It's a good thing I can control weather because the bacon cave's getting hit by lightning. My dad was a dentist and he didn't let me have candy. And now I want to kill children.
You kind of get up on the table.